Hi everyone. I just want to do a few minutes to give you some tips about how to work with your body and to see where you may be holding stress that you're unaware of. I know I always do a body scan in a meditation, but sometimes we don't want to sit and we have a moment, we're cooking or whatever, and we notice some tension in our bodies. And so I just want to do a really brief way or to give you some tools and ways that you can really try to hone in and bring breath and soften those places that may be holding stress. So one of the first things is the obvious one is shoulders. I know for myself lately that unbeknownst to me, I'm in conversation, whether I'm doing Zoom or Google Hangouts or FaceTiming, that my shoulders tend to go up a little bit. Now we all know that our shoulders can do that during tension, but these kinds of times in particular, we may not know that. And so I think it's important when you're in conversations or you're listening to just sort of check and see where your shoulders are. The next thing that I think is important is clenching. Oftentimes we don't even realize it, and I just noticed that the other night, which I usually don't do. I was clenching my teeth because I was thinking about a whole bunch of things. So I think really just sort of checking in with your jaw and to see if there's any clenching going on at different times during the day, what you notice. Just sort of maybe even a periodic stop, pause, check in. It's like, where am I holding stress in my body? So jaws, shoulders, even your posturing. I mean, to really make sure, especially now more than ever, is to be really more upright in your posture and feeling the balls of your feet on the ground. There are plenty of times that I've noticed here in the last few weeks that I get a little, my anxiety gets up and I start being concerned about some things that I have no control over. So I think it's important to be able to work with yourselves, and one of the things that I do is feel the balls of my feet on the ground, feel just like pressing ever so slightly, feeling it, maybe even standing up like this on your toes and coming back down. It's just sort of to get your mind to your feet and just do that and just sort of feeling the balls of your feet, feeling your feet flat on the ground. And for extra credit, maybe even imagining that there's roots growing out at the bottom of your feet, grounding yourself into the earth and steadying you in this really highly anxious time that's filled with a lot of uncertainty and chaos and stress. So balls of your feet, extra credit, maybe some roots that you can feel sort of into the ground, into the earth, digging in like a deep root system connecting to the earth. Posture, try to make sure that it's open here. That's part of the reason why noticing if you're doing this or if you're leaning over too much is to really sort of pull your shoulders back ever so gently, allowing breath to kind of fill your chest area better. Checking in, noticing your breathing, shallow breathing, or as you're breathing from your belly. Big difference. I mean, there's tension here. Breath can't make it down to your belly. You really want to be conscious of that and try to shift your breath to bring a deep breath in here. And sometimes you could be cooking or doing something or in conversation. Just pulling the breath up the belly, holding it for 3 seconds, slowly blowing it out, and again. Slowly blowing it out, and doing that just a couple of times just to settle yourself and being aware of how you are living in your body right now. Jaws, shoulders, posture, feet, balls to the ground, listening to sounds, stopping. I'm doing this outside because I think it's a little cooler temperatures today. It's lovely to be outside. And I am fortunate enough to listen to water, and we all don't have that, I know that. But to be able to, whatever the sounds that are surrounding you outdoors, whether it be birds flying overhead, there's a bird flying over my head right now. Not a friendly bird though, it's a vulture. Anyway, just noticing your surroundings, sort of getting out of your head and getting into noticing other things. Like I'm looking over here and I know you can't see that, but they're really interesting how the light is hitting the top of the trees, and just noticing textures and lighting and sounds and perhaps coolness. There was a breeze in a little bit. It keeps coming and going. Is just letting your body really be in touch with what is happening outside of yourself, putting separation between you and the anxiety that you may be experiencing. So once you ground yourself, being able to step outside, maybe employ some of the techniques that I was just walking you through, and listen to sounds and grounding yourself. These are exceptional times for all of us. And I think it's really helpful every day to be mindful of checking in with yourself, be mindful of how you may be holding on to a lot of tension and stress in your body unbeknownst to you. So these practices can be really helpful just when you're just standing, talking, listening, watching. And make sure that you really minimize your news intake, because that's what also can get us stirred with just too much information out there right now. Okay? Stay well. Safe. Namaste.